starting right now. So let's head in-game and take a look at the bans.
I'm gonna completely agree with you on those maps, by the way. I think that the one that stands out the most to me would definitely be Villa. Oxygen 0-5 on it in the last 3 months. Not gonna be the most amount of fun, but we're on Consulate right now. Oxygen just have a winning record on this map. They're 2-1, whereas Tempo is 1-2. We're gonna be removing Thatcher from the map as well, but that's something that we're used to. Let's see how bad the offense is gonna be hindered here. Ace is gonna be up next, so gonna see a lot of Maverick tricking.
And to go back to the map statistics here for OXG, the wins they do have on record are against a pretty prominent team. They're both against SSG. The loss they have as well on record is against TSM, and it's a 7-5. So that one even looks pretty close when you take a deeper look at the overall scores. Tempo obviously struggling a little bit more on this map, but they have their own series of successes too, just to a lesser degree. So we're going to have to see if they've made up for that now in this first map against Oxygen, as if not, Oxygen could be looking to take some early quick control here for a 1-0 lead. Valkyrie and Wamai are going to be our two defender bans, and we'll get to the end of that and head straight into round number 1.
Oh, Oxygen going to be starting on the offense. This map, kind of a teeter-totter depending on the teams that are playing it, mainly because of the tertiary site, that third site that you have to go to. A lot of teams have a struggle choosing which one's going to be more successful. A lot of teams avoiding upstairs now and heading towards split site. We'll have to see what Tempo Storm wants to do once we get there. But for the first round, we're started off downstairs with what seems to be a roam setup with this Mozzie and Mute coming in.
See, of course, how all that is going to play out. So we get into the actual round here. Take a better look at what the teams are going to set up for themselves. But as Stokes is just talking about, Tempo definitely going to be setting themselves up in the basement. But good emphasis on the roam play will come in once the round actually begins here, with Crazy, more than likely Creators helping out with that Dream, a possibility to try to get aggressive too. But more than likely, he'll be staying closer to the actual site once the action gets rolling here, which we'll see that boil up in just a second. As far as the mirror windows are concerned, these are going to be pretty standard too. You've already got the one on the closed cafeteria wall. Should be a second one going up here at any second on the wall that Mark just reinforced. And there it is, right on cue. So you've got your standard mirror setup for this site as well. Nothing crazy going on there.
Yeah, rest of the utility for Tempo Storm just dedicated around the garage area. We see some Banshees getting set up by Jarvis inside, as well as a couple other things strung out across the map. We have a reinforcement all the way upstairs inside of Connector as well, with Creators currently inside of there. So we'll see if this roam game works out for Tempo Storm. Oxygen do have all of the tools, which means they have the means to handle this, especially with those air jabs. And they're going to be needing that verticality in order to get that garage open.
So let's take a look here, see exactly what the opening gambit is going to be for OXG, where they're going to look to try and get control over first. Already some pressure going up against Crazy to try to force him out. Mainly just coming from the drones right now. No one on OXG actually going to go for the outright flush this early on here. He'll still maintain control for the foreseeable future. Could be a pretty short future, though, when you look at the fact that there's already some admin control going over to OXG with Vertical taking quick control here, in addition to the pressure out on the balcony that we've already seen Crazy deal with as of a few seconds ago. Besides that, though, not much going on. It does look like Crazy's been forced back a little bit closer towards Connector. That's not going to be stopping OXG too much, though. They're going to continue to clear things out, and when push does come to shove, we'll find that Crazy does have to fall back completely and does not have enough good positioning to be able to take a fight here. That'll now fall to Creators if he gets an opportunity to do so, as he's back over here on yellow stairs. Crazy does make an attempt to get some damage in with the Nitro Cell, but no connection, looking at the HP of the OXG members there.
So far, a very successful roam game here from Tempo Storm, reading the room very well, backing off when needed, but still staying close enough to be able to get some frags. Creators might end up with the very first one here, that M590 working so well up against Vert, not knowing anyone would be playing very aggressively. They've done a very good job of cutting up the map, at least on the top floor. They just weren't ready for the transition to that mid-level. Fox8 going to be the first one inside for Oxygen on this mid-level. They still need some picks to be able to get this site open, and they haven't even worked on the garage yet because Crazy still has this vertical control.
A little bit of damage going on Creators there. I believe that's coming in from a frag grenade. The follow-up from Bio is successful to take him down as well. And Foxay also going to have some success here as he's finally able to isolate Crazy and eliminate him. Hatches should be getting opened up if there is a priority to do that. Any second here from Foxay. Was looking like he was going for something back in the main lobby, but threw himself away from that. Is now rotating to a completely different position. He may have to do garage duty from the looks of things. We'll see exactly how that all pans out in a moment, though. We do still have the electric claws on those hatches, though, and that would explain why Foxay does not go for the breaches there that I was talking about a moment ago. Away from this, there's easy top-down control in the hands of Bio right now over by Piano, which means there's no successful attempts that are going to be made to stop the garage from being opened. You can immediately see the counter coming in right there when they do try to do that. The second wall will get opened shortly afterwards. So Bio does a great job making sure that none of the denial from Tempo is successful here, and that Oxygen in a nice quick opening. The problem is, it's quick, yeah, but there's only 15 seconds remaining now for them to get into the site, and they've only got it down to a 4v3. Will they actually be able to push their way through? Well, we're finding out right now. Slash will make the first attempt at it. Players from Tempo are trying to push forward and prevent this plant, but so far it's all unsuccessful. The plant goes down with just a couple seconds remaining, and OXG has great control in the post plant. It's all going to come down to Dream and Jarvis to try and retake this.
Slash with an opening pick here makes us a 4-1 situation for Jarvis on pipes, but Slash nips it in the bud. Oxygen walks away with the first round after some good patience upstairs. Got the 2 big picks that they needed to get that vertical control. Even though the delay happened down to that last minute, they still had plenty of time to break up the flooring, get the garage open, and eventually go for a plant. Tempo just getting a touch too aggressive, and they really didn't have too much to actually prevent the plant from going down. They had to play for the nitro cell throws, which did not work out for them at all, and Oxygen did a very good job of clearing out most of the utility inside of garage that would have made it a very difficult time to get that diffuser down, specifically those Banshees and the frag grenades being used by Bio up top. So Oxygen picking up the very first round after a pretty nice plant. Tempo Storm immediately changing things up, and you can't blame them, especially after such a good roam game. Much rather throw it towards lobby and see if it sticks.
Great sign at the beginning of the series here for OXG. One of the issues that we saw Oxygen running into when they played Tempo Storm last time was the problems that were often surfacing with their attack and being unable to put anything together, especially when it came to mid-round plays. Obviously not the issue here, but only one round having been played, we don't want to make too stark of a judgment this early on. Let's wait and see how Tempo will look to adjust for things and try and make this a little bit more palatable as they move around to different sites. Now, of course, going to be in lobby, so still a lot of upstairs play going to be coming in here for Tempo. In fact, probably a little bit more than we saw in the previous round due to how important it is for the defenders to maintain control up here because of their capability to stop most plant attempts if they continue to do so. So Creators and Dream more than likely going to be sticking around for a good amount of time. Mark as well in a different spot in the map here. Going to be working to provide them as much intel as possible.
Well, it seems as though Oxygen wants to walk right into the belly of the beast upstairs and deal with it straight up. Not a bad plan either with the OMI band coming in. There's going to be a lot less burn needed to get some pressure onto Dream inside of Projector. OXG already having control of admin and working their way towards long haul, but this is exactly what Mark's positioned downstairs for with that cardiac sensor. He's going to get a good read on the situation upstairs to be able to assist Dream, whatever other member of Tempo Storm is lying in wait.
Bio's going to reposition here, looks like momentarily, so he'll hop out of the window and work himself towards a different segment of the map. Creators, who did try to take a fight over there, and CEO just a moment ago is going to get found out by Foxay on the rappel. A couple seconds later, eliminating him in one of the first holds upstairs here. Next up on the plate, more than likely going to be Dream. Already drones being hyper-focused onto him. And of course, Foxay, I believe, once again, coming in here to try and deal some damage. May not be Fox. I'm not so good with my silhouettes, so we'll have to see that from that player's perspective, but we'll get confirmation on that in a moment. This Dream is going to be pressured here over the next few seconds. He's got a good read on it, though, but he doesn't spot that drone just past the doorway. Catches it now, but it's too late as Slash makes the play and successfully takes him out. Adding yet another kill for OXG here as they bring it down to a 5v3.
Of all the operators to peek that door, it's Thermite that gets the job done, even though he still has an exothermic charge inside of his pocket, but that doesn't mean the gun doesn't work. Nice pickup there by Slash to open up the upstairs, and now Oxygen's got a very nice control of the situation. Tempo Storm still do have control of yellow, and they have prevention downstairs, but the area they really have to worry about is lobby.
Crazy having to get a little bit aggressive here from the looks of things. Also a mirror window here, which does not appear to let him see through it, but I'm going to assume that's a bug on our end, not actually on his end. Either way, players will start moving through here. Some fire coming through onto that mirror window there to try to prevent any peeks, but no attempts from the other side, and Laxing strikes yet again here. Bio finding success on that second attempt to take out the player behind the mirror window, and does just that. And Foxay rolls in here to eliminate Jarvis, netting OXG a flawless round so far. A beautiful performance in these first 2 rounds, taking care of business, just running down the checklist and getting through these rounds without struggling too much.
Yeah, I might not want to have sent that tweet Might have been a bad idea.
Yeah, your prediction for Tempo's not looking too good right now.
It really
It's 2
isn't, but
rounds
it's
though, so
yeah, but it's not Tempo's fault necessarily. They're not exactly playing poor. It's that Oxygen are playing much better than what they were previously. And I like that they're starting it off on constant as well. This is a map that we've seen OXG have some success with before, specifically Foxe. I think everybody remembers that clip of him walking around Banana and just frying everyone his pulse. So it's nice to see them starting to get back to their bread and butter. But it's more of a patient Oxygen than it is anything. There's really no aggressive front. I mean, unless you want to call the Thermite pick a aggressive front. But even then, Oxygen looking really good on these offenses and working off of each other well. And as you said, the checklist being done appropriately where they aren't overstepping their boundaries, where Tempo can possibly get some, inkling of success inside of the round.
yeah, it's very clinical looking right now from OXG, and it's probably going to continue to be that way unless Tempo tries to throw a wrench in the gears here. Haven't really seen that be too successful as of yet, at least based on the play from the first 2 rounds. Tempo's also going to continue to shift sites. They've yet to repeat any of the first 2 they've tried to play here, and are going to play into a 3rd one instead now as we head to the split site, oftentimes being the successful one for a lot of defending teams that can't find success elsewhere. So let's see if that'll be the case from Tempo. They're bringing the old standard here of 4 nitro cells. As you can tell from their equipment on the right side, definitely going to be trying to play into the basement and deny as much plant potential as possible here.
We'll see if Tempo can possibly be successful on this defense as well. Bringing creators along for the ride with the Oryx. And Oryx, a pretty unique operator that we're beginning to see a little bit more play from. He's quite the fun operator to roam with, specifically because he can jump up hatches that are open, as well as open them himself with that Bailiff secondary. So there's a lot of tools to his kit you can possibly use to catch some people off guard. Oxygen still bringing the anti-roam as well as the anti-hop out, if that's exactly what you want to call it. The air jabs in Laxing's pocket there with the Nomad, which could be used to keep creators inside of a box. But Oxygen, once again, taking their time, using those drones appropriately, as well as adding Jackal to the mix, be able to help with this roam game. They know that somebody has to try and get some early picks here to make this split site work.
A little bit of dodge work there from creators, and unfortunately it's not going to lead to much. Foxe just cannot be escaped from, it seems, so far in this match. Once again, hunting down a player early on in the round here. Creators goes bye-bye, and so does some of that roaming capability from Tempo. It's going with OXG being up to a good start. That more likely means that any of the remaining roam presence, if there is any from Tempo, is going to have to play passively here, looking to try and set things up. And, well, let's be honest, there isn't much roam presence. All 4 players that are still alive for Tempo are now down in the basement, trying to deny more than anything any successful attempts from OXG to get their plant down here. They're still focused primarily upstairs in the meantime, though, but they are starting to shift onto the first floor, as you can see with players like Foxe, and another one also vertical there, working their way down the 2nd floor stairs over here towards Visa, and eventually into Tellers, where they'll more than likely attempt their plant. I mean, still with plenty of time to do this as well. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. OXG have all the luxuries in the world at the moment. They just have to be very careful, of course, about the planting due to the 4 nitro cells, or at least 3 that are still in the arsenal of Tempo.
Hey, they're doing a very good job of setting up for the split take, all except for Slash taking quite a bit of damage. He'd have been the 2nd kill to happen this game for Tempo Storm's favor, but it'll just still continue to be only vertical. They need that rush downstairs to work here, but it's not going to. Dream with the first pump, dumps vertical, but it seems like the diffuser's going to go down anyways, even though the pulse remained alive. Oh no, now Tempo Storm have to force themselves up these staircases, which are held so well by Oxygen.
Can see great angles being set up by them here. Slash is going to get taken down, though, which potentially brings us down to a 2v4 if we're to assume no one gets Slash up. There's going to be an attempt made at that, though. Foxe goes for the res, and looks like he's going to be able to get it. Air jab will be triggered. Possibly another one going off here in a second, but they're going to try and get the kill before they even have an opportunity to do that. Oh, no! A saving grace comes in, but it's not close enough, as Mark will still be taken out, but Jarvis at least gets the trade. Foxe is now going to be left as the last man standing, denies the first attempt here of a player trying to get on counter defuse, goes for the second one and confirms that one as well. Bye-bye to Crazy. Dream, the last man standing here, could end up being a massive 4K from Foxe, and he's going to go for it now. There we go. The last remaining player from the other side doesn't even attempt it, as he knows he's a dead man there, so just lets it go, takes the L on the round, and that's going to be another win for OXG.
Well, 2 rounds with the plant and 1 flawless round. So I'd say Oxygen is playing lights out right now on this offense. Is going to be the full rotation from the defense. They didn't end up picking around. They could go wherever they wanted to the entire time, but they ended up shifting sites every single time. We're headed back downstairs to see if Tempo Storm can fix any of this, and this is just really, really good siege here from Oxygen. Tempo Storm not being allowed to do a lot of these niche things that they're trying to do, specifically in that last round with the Oryx off doing his own thing. They had every single window covered, as well as the Jackal track on him to keep that intel rolling, locked him down, and then progressed into the later half of the round with some pretty good plays. I mean, they locked down the map, locked down the staircases, air jabs were in great places. Tempo Storm just almost had it on that retake, specifically from Yellow, where they were able to actually get this, ball rolling. Oxygen still able to shut it down, though, as Fox8 rotated upstairs, picked up the down slash, and was able to clutch out the round. Oxygen up 3-0 right now. Tempo Storm, guys, you got to fix something. It's these early picks right now. I mean, even on their last garage defense, they did a very good job of delaying time, but eventually the two big picks came through, and they weren't able to find anything to either slow down or prevent that plant.
Tempo desperately need to get Fox8 under control. 6-0 right now he's running with there on the scoreboard, and even away from that very obvious issue there, so many of the roamers getting picked off early in the round. Tempo's going to need to make a call here, either to peel that back or set up better support structure for those roamers, that at least in the event they go down, as has so often been the case here at the beginning of the round, there could be a potential opportunity for a trade at a minimum. But that's been difficult because a lot of the kills that Oxygen have been getting have been potentially from windows, which a lot of the time don't really present good opportunities to be tradable here. Just like this, in fact, I believe. Crazy going to get taken down, and there's a good possibility that that happens actually from the inside of admin. Looking at it now, that's Bio, I'm pretty sure, shooting it through the soft wall. Remember, there's no points on, so he doesn't actually have confirmation that he downed Crazy yet, but he's got a pretty good idea of it. He's looking around pretty hard for the body, actually looking to get a second one, but instead he's going to get a bullet thrown in his face by Jarvis. Thankfully, Laxing will still be able to get the confirmation off on a Crazy, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 to start things out.
Very surprised that Bio ended up making that mistake there, but that's going to be a 1-for-1, as you said. The sledge off the board now, and that's actually a very big pick. Gonna need something else to do this vertical work, which more than likely lands on the shoulders of Vertical. No one carrying breach charges right now either, so only going to be able to create 2 holes there, but that's really all you need when it comes down to it if you're in a desperate area to get vertical play inside of Piano. Oxygen now want to start work on the garage. Slashug has rotated all the way outside and is now waiting on his teammates to get rid of that mute jammer, but that means that they need Piano control. That's what Oxygen's setting up their vision for right now, as well as trying to prevent anyone from coming up Banana. Impact is going to get rid of the air jab, so they're going to have to be aware of that for the rest of the time, at least here in round 4. Oxygen with this mid control now. Just need to get this garage open, and we can start off on these plants. It's been going pretty well so far. Laxing with a big 2K. More than likely got that on the back stairs angle, downstairs into lockers that we saw Slash die from, or excuse me, Bio die from a little bit earlier on.
Now, Laxing certainly getting revenge for the death of his teammate a few moments ago here. Mark potentially going to have some pressure on him in a moment as he's trying to take a much more forward position in hopes of swinging this round back under his team's control. Has to be careful, of course, due to the obvious garage breach set in front of him now. But actually, he's going to make the aggressive move, and unfortunately for him, Fox8, already well mounted on that angle, is going to be able to take out Mark with no problem whatsoever, and in the process failed to deny the second opening. Not that it was even really needed at this point. Nitro Cell goes in. That'll stop the plant at a minimum, but no one else close enough to get some chain damage onto that one, so just Slash going down. It's still a 1v3. A good start of a clutch attempt here from Dream, but he's not going to be able to take it that far. Laxing ends the round with his 4th kill on that round, and puts OXG even further ahead here. Right now, they are dominating on consulate attack.
I love how Oxygen is working their offenses here on console. They're playing the windows extremely well, and they're using their early intel to dictate how they're going to handle the round. They've done a very good job of dicing up the map and actually pinching onto these, these last couple of players, or if the roam game's going on. Either or, Oxygen overall great on pinching on this information. I mean, even down to that 3v1 there. We even saw it come out from Laxing coming all the way from Locker's hallway, I believe down the admin staircase, ended up having the off angle that he exactly wasn't ready for. And Oxygen, if they continue down this, I don't really see Tempo getting around. I mean, this is just beautiful siege played out by Oxygen here. Fuse coming in as well in place of the Habana. I didn't see which site. We're going back downstairs, so that's actually going to have a lot of presence here. I mean, Fuse, if you guys didn't know, he now has 4 cluster charges, left-hand side of your screen there, as well as I'm pretty sure they added an extra hockey puck to his his ability there. So he has a little bit more explosive impact, as well as an entire another set of those cluster charges and secondary hard breach. So there's a lot of stuff that's infused his kit now. We don't still see him get played too often just because of how prominent the obvious audio is when you set down a cluster charge. But when you have that control and they're actually able to get used, they can cause devastating effects.
Well, folks, you saw it there on the screen a moment ago. Don't forget, we've got some new skins in the store for all of the leagues, like the smoke set for the NAL. Be sure to go ahead in game and check those out. It's a great opportunity to directly support Rainbow Six Esports and your favorite teams. Jump on that opportunity to grab some of those new skins before they are gone.
Also has one of the coolest charms in the game, guys, for the NA one. It's smoke holding our NAL logo. So make sure you go get that. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty good on the well, recent skins, you know. Anyways, now jumping into round 5, folks. We're back downstairs like we were talking about earlier. Exact same setup here from Tempo Storm. We're going to have the smoke. I do believe he is a new addition to this lineup, as there is not going to be a Mozzie or anything else of the sort, or a mute brought along. So Crazy just focused on sight, and can't exactly blame them. It's really came down to the sight execute for Oxygen on these round wins, but it's been influenced by those picks. Nevertheless, though, Fox, they're going to be starting things off in this mid-level here with the first cluster charge going off, and it seems as though this has been practiced. You can see he's putting these in pretty precise areas lined up with things. You can continually see him looking around in order to make this a little bit easier for him on these lineups, but now, might as well just start slapping them down and seeing what you can get. Jarvis with a nice pick, though, onto Bio. Once again, the sledge getting picked off early.
And he had a quick fallback hatch actually in the closet back by front lobby, I think. You can see it right there. So he's able to get out of there, get himself into a safe position where no one from OXG can currently really follow him too, unless they want to take the angle from the top of the hatch. No one showing much interest in that. So OXG really for the first time in this entire round having to try and fight from the back foot here. You can see we still, looks like we have a cluster charge ready to be deployed, but hasn't been thrown out just as of yet. So Foxit with an opportunity to do that and cause some chaos here in a few seconds when the opportunity presents itself. Other than that, we can see Mark, unfortunately for him, being backed up into a corner. He's going to have to try and find a way to stay alive and hopefully find some impact here, as he no longer has the mirror windows to support him. There's a top-down angle working against him as well. So a lot to play against currently. And it's good news for the OXG rosters. They don't have to worry about the mirror angles as much. Still one over here on the inside of security, though. Crazy. We're going to be mounting this one, and we'll have to try his best to see if he can find any impact from it. Flash is coming his way, but it's not too much trouble to be able to dodge that. In the meantime, some damage finally coming out on the mark, as I believe that is the cluster charge that was placed way long ago in the round that is going to be able to take him out. Nitro Cell goes out, but it's thrown too short and is taken down. A series of trades is going to bring this into a 3v3 as Oxygen battles it back into an even man count. First attempt at the plant now going down as well, and unfortunately Tempo doesn't seem to have a good way to stop this, but Jarvis certainly going to make an attempt. Unfortunately misses the hitbox though when he tries to take him out, so the diffuser does go down, and even though he kills the planter, it's traded anyway by Vert. Jarvis just going to go straight for the defuse attempt. Does anyone on Oxygen realize this is happening? No, it could just be a straight up ninja defuse, and it looks like it's going to go through. Jarvis steals the round for Tempo, and they're going to take one for free right out of the hands of OXG.
Well, that's a way to get around. I mean, just
Certainly
walk into the
is.
diffuser and start diffusing it. Why not? There was a lot of positives instead of that last round for both of these teams. Tempo, a much more structured setup for them, much more patience as well. Almost went sideways when that cluster charge ended up picking up a frag and equalizing man count, mainly because they really needed that body count alongside their utility to fight back on that plant. I mean, they really only had a nitro cell for true prevention to actually kill the guy, as well as those 3 smokes that we saw coming in from Crazy. But I mean, overall, when it came down to getting the diffuser down and playing the post plant, it was a nice setup there for Oxygen. I just don't think that they were in earshot of the man actually diffusing it. So Tempo, very good use of I mean, Oxygen's negligence to check the diffuser so early on. I mean, that was really it. That was Oxygen's round through and through.
And Jarvis, I think, realizing that, props to him for making a play right there, realizing that there may be a possible opportunity to ninja it and being right on that as well, fully committing to it. coming out on top. Finally putting one on the board here for Tempo after what seemed like just an endless string of success for OXG. Now finally running into some issues. We'll have to see how they look to quickly adapt. And Tempo going to work their way upstairs, I believe, for the first time in this half, if my memory serves me correctly. So we'll see how the upstairs site is going to treat them and how Oxygen will look to deal with that. They've had no issue getting control of areas like admin when Tempo has had roaming setups up here previously, but now we're going to see if that's going to be a little bit different with potentially the full 5-man roster minus maybe 1 or 2 roamers now present on this floor for the entire round.
This is quite the setup here from Tempo Storm, specifically operator-wise, having Clash come in with Pulse and Doc, so could see some early aggression. That's exactly what we're going to see from Creators, as well as Mark go downstairs just for that intel game. This setup seems to mostly be placed off of how Crazy is going to play this out. He's the most amount of the delay on the team besides Dream, but obviously you don't want those toxic babes to get burnt too early if you can stop it from happening. Mostly focused around yellow right now. Oxygen, this is going to be their first time attacking this setup, as it is bringing, being brought out fresh here inside of round 6.
Some flashbangs going into the window there. That's to burn out the ADSs, which are set up on the pillar. You can see them being shot out right now, and the final one has been burnt, so both these players are going to get blinded temporarily here. We do see a little bit of the hard breach work going out. Jarvis trying to take a duel against the player on the other side, which I believe is Slash, but losing that one. He goes down to under 25 HP. We can say similar things for Mark, as it looks like he ends up in a small skirmish as well, but he returns some damage. And now, as we can see, Kratos taking up another angle. He's going to try to fire back against some of the action that's been going on back over at the skylight there, but again, not much success in finding any damage from the defender's perspective. Tempo still fighting from the back foot a little bit, but they've kept everyone alive. So OXG still looking for their initial advantage, and now they're going to find it as Slash strikes from the window, fulfilling the role that Foxy's been doing for most of this half so far, and taking out Jarvis first this time.
And this has been the major problem for Tempo Storm. Oxygen just so damn good at working these windows, and that's exactly what Consulate plays like. It's a window simulator. You're going to have to continue to fight these angles where people are able to move pretty quickly on that rappel, and that's going to be a big pick as well, but immediately refrag from Creators through that vertical angle that we saw him standing on top of earlier. So a nice trade here, but not favoring Tempo Storm in the slightest. That's your Pulse gone, the Nitro Cell, as well as the Cardiac Sensor, all on the floor now, and Oxygen have man count.
Yeah, potential missed opportunity there for Creators if we did end up seeing Foxy jump in that window initially, not only, of course, to get that frag, but to potentially save his teammate, and now he's going to suffer the consequences of that. Bio taking out Creators here, bringing it down to just Crazy and Dream. One of them, of course, being on a Clash, so that having a somewhat limited usability in this 2vx scenario. We'll have to eventually switch off that shield and start getting ready to gunfight with that secondary pistol. And in the meantime here, Dream trying to rotate around the back angles and actually finding a free opening here vertical, not being aware of that potential swing from Dream. Does get one for free here, and now is just trying to delay and, more importantly, assist his teammate in any way necessary to try and stop this plant from happening, as they have been flushed out of that main console site. You see, though, Crazy doing a good job of forcing himself back in, taking a little team damage from the smoke, but that's not going to matter too much. As long as he continues to waste time and prevent the plant, he's winning right now. But in the meantime, Slash going to go back, trying to make yet another attempt at the plant. Finally, a swing from Dream, and it won't work out, and it's not too long before Crazy is also taken out a moment later by Slash. Success found from OXG. It gets a little close on the time, but that's been the way we've been playing Siege for a while. Even some moves there to try to make the kill happen, but not going to be the case there. Oxygen win it out again, and now go up to 5.
Yeah, the success of the Clash smoke there really begs the question on if the rest of Tempo Storm kind of slowed down their pacing instead of getting so aggressive towards Oxygen's window play, that they could have had a successful round there. I mean, that was some very, very good delay. I was very surprised on how effective the Clash was inside of CEO and how long it lasted with the amount of separate angles that they had. Some good play there as well on the end, just to work the outside angles, rotating back in with the smoke to peek the top of admin stairs. Some good stuff there from Tempo Storm, but all in vain at the end of the day. 5-1 split in favor of Oxygen, as they're now on the defensive side. They're headed downstairs this time. Let's see if the synergy is as good on defense as it was on offense.
See that indeed. Setup here for OXG is going to go towards Goyo for their basement defense. No Mira in sight, which is something that Tempo was using religiously when they went on to this basement site. That's going to be a little bit different here, as we will be trying to delay after the breach happens instead of directly trying to prevent it. You'll note that there's not going to be a bandit or a Kaid to get into the way of that either, so Tempo's going to be getting the garage open very early, but it'll take a little bit longer to find the security they need to actually go for their plant.
Okay, well, Oxygen setting up all the way upstairs as well. And the interesting one, Laxing putting reinforcements down inside of projectors. So it looks like they're going to have a extended roam game with some assistance upstairs. No ADSs or anything of the sort, but Laxing is going to impact the table to make some vertical play downstairs here towards the front door. Could get a nice pick if somebody wants to play this area, as well as a Banshee there to support. So Laxing also has an audio cue. There's a couple different layers to this setup. I like this coming out from Oxygen.
Foxy is going to hear the visa window getting opened. Not a lot of intel for him to play off of those. Obviously, Valkyrie's banned out, so no chance for any cameras to be deployed out there. They've only got what they were able to scramble from their defaults before they quickly got shot out, and of course, what they can gather from those audio cues. Creators is going to be heard jumping into admin, and it looks like he's got one other teammate joining him as well, based off of what I can hear. But it's only the start of this, as of course, you still have those players very well secured on the inside of Projector, and from the looks of things, CEO as well. Laxing will be challenged first, and he's actually not even going to stick around for very long. Backs up, gets himself through his fallback hatch, and is now going to be waiting above a different one on the inside of lobby to potentially make a play here if the opportunity presents itself.
Well, he is going to need some assistance from a teammate if he does end up needing some help here. If they pop that, he should be able to sit on the corner.
This is cool.
Oh, nope, never mind. Laxing ends up getting dropped instead, so that's very unfortunate. Not able to work the outside pixels of that hatch. So now downstairs, but it's not the worst thing in the world. All of Oxygen still alive here, and this is not something that we could say the same for Tempo at the same time on a very similar site. So Tempo Storm now have vertical control. They just need to work these angles and get this garage set up for themselves. The rest of Tempo Storm still clearing out the building. Good on time as well. Minute and 5 seconds remain as they get the wall open. The only bad thing is, as there is a lot of utility still to burn through from Oxygen on their defensive site. Nitro Cell thrown out by Foxe off of the Goyo shield. Catches nothing, so no damage done with that. Gone fishing a little bit too soon. Some frag grenades, as well as the rest dedicated from Tempo Storm to start clearing some things up.
Yep, and that's all going to be done primarily by Mark here. The frag grenade to take out the Evil Eye sitting below White Van, quickly taking out the other Goyo shield on the left side of this breach, which you're going to see in just a moment here as the second Exo is used to open up the remaining portion of the garage window that Tempo want to open for themselves. Only 30 seconds left to make the play, though it's definitely enough, but with the still being down to a 5v5, there's a lot of potential unknowns that they're going to have to work with, including players swinging on them here. It's going to start out okay, though, as they'll trade it 1-for-1, but now they've got to be careful. Moving in past this point, of course, especially with their diffuser having gone down to the ground, is going to risk quite a bit, and it's not looking good here as we see Vertical with a nice catch, taking out Jarvis just as he tries to swing down from Spiral. Everything's on Mark and Creators now. Mark having to join after he took care of so much of the utility back up in Piano. Creators does get deep enough into the site to make a plant attempt, but it's not going to be enough. No additional control for Tempo's remaining other teammate there. Leaves pretty much everything under the control of OXD, and an easy reswing there to take out the planter past the 0 timer means success for OXG as they now push it up onto map point.
Very unfortunate there for Tempo Storm. They had the man count to get it done, but they just weren't watching Pipes. That was really it. There was no one upstairs in Piano playing the vertical play for Pipes where Vertical was, funny enough, and he ended up just killing everybody. He killed everyone. Jarvis rotated down Banana late, ends up getting caught off by the I almost said Malusi, but it's actually Maestro in the back line there. There was a lot of positive things there for Tempo. They had the map control to get it done. They just weren't respecting the areas in which Oxygen could play, and Oxygen made them pay for it. You got to respect those areas inside of that garage. If you leave one unchecked, that's when those picks come in, and they're able to snowball it back in their own direction. So nice stuff there from Oxygen to not get too scared once Foxe got picked on Yellow Pillar. Vertical had it locked down from Pipes. Great play from them. For Tempo Storm, you got to keep those vertical angles being worked, man. There was 2 picks there for you guys that you guys could have had, but just very unfortunate that no one was there to be able to assist.
So OXG pushing this map to the brink now, and Tempo really having to summon their inner strength to try and bring this one back, or if not, look forward to maps number 2 and 3, which may have been part of their game plan to begin with here. This is so far kind of the expected result based on some of those map statistics that we were talking about earlier. Still, for Tempo, a 7-1, not a great way to start off a series, so if they can try to get at least a few more rounds on the board here, I'm sure that's going to help not only if the obvious scoreline disadvantage they're working with, but also potentially any moral issues that could be going on for Tempo, as this is looking somewhat similar to last week's performance, and they definitely don't want a repeat of that.
I will say this though, Tempo Storm is looking a lot more synergized than they did last week.
Yeah.
Sitting there and you know, just casting through both of those maps, it was like Tempo just gave up. There was nothing there for them. They were husks of the former men that they were. There was nothing left in the tank for them. But this time around, they continue to fight. I think that we're going to have a really, really good Villa. It's just, I don't think that Consulate is the play for them, especially with how fiery Oxygen is right now and how well they've been working with each other. Going back to the split site now, Tempo Storm need to get this plant down and play for that post plant and try and force Oxygen to come upstairs. That's why Oxygen wants these picks early on here. You can see Foxe looking around to see exactly what they can do with a possible swing or nitro cell from vertical, but no presence yet from Tempo.
Foxe going to back up a little bit here, continuing to try and gather intel from the heartbeat sensor. This teammate plays the upper echelon of that angle. Away from this, Dream is going to swing himself to the inside here. He'll take easy admin control and start working on a little bit of soft destruction to see if they can find themselves an early pick against anyone from OXG that might still be hiding around the first floor, or even on the transition stairs from Visa down below. Mark, in fact, finds this player. It's Bio. Down is going to go the Malusi as Tempo get themselves started out with an early 5v4 advantage. Now it's just time to take some map control, build on that, and hopefully avoid the flurry of nitro cells that'll be coming from the basement from the remaining members of OXG.
Yeah, that's the real scary thing. But the other thing they have to worry about is Oxygen trying to force themselves up these stairways. Did not. Oh, actually, excuse me. They actually did bring the Nomad. So Jarvis still having that in his pocket. Slash with a nice pickup as well. On to Crazy. Crazy not having the best game ever right now. So we'll see if the rest of his team can possibly pick this up. Getting set up for the plant now as Creators primes it for the very first time. Nitro Cell out, but haven't thrown it just yet. Reset here as Slash picks up Dream. That's going to be a double kill for him on the round. Diffuser canceled once again as they continue to dance around inside of Tellers. Getting chased down by this cardiac sensor. Don't have a good read on him. Creators dashing out, and now they're all going down funnel. A little bit of a fake here. They still have plenty of time to try and make an audible, but not successful just yet. Mark now has pressure on Banana, but yet another kill here from Slash. Can he go for 4? He absolutely can. Jarvis, sit down. Foxe picks up Creators, and Oxygen with a 7-1 finish here on Consulate.
Oxygen definitely with a confident start to this series, improving on aspects, as we already saw from last week, of course, but improving on aspects from week 1. Issues with their attack no longer seeming to surface. They've really ironed that out. The